Hey guys, Techify, and today I've got a review of the Xtrfy MZ1, a mouse designed by YouTuber Rocket Jump Ninja, and it has a really unique shape and set of features. So guys, let's get into this. In the box you obviously get everything you need, including replacement feet, which is really nice to see, and Xtrfy does a reasonably high quality job. That being said, this mouse comes in at about $79 or €79, £79 even, so it's not a cheap mouse, and it's definitely something that you're spending the money on, you expect some good quality. The main thing I'm going to talk about is this mouse and its shape. It's obviously really unique, it's very specifically designed, and that has some pros and cons. First thing you'll notice is it's very short, very thin, and has a very unique hump design. It means for palm users it's just not designed for that at all, but that's really not what this mouse is designed for. It's definitely designed for more of the mouse enthusiast community and those who really want to get the perfect shape for their aim. And I think it does a lot of those things quite well, so if you're a fingertip user it's going to do pretty well, and similarly if you're a claw user, like myself, it actually works really well, but more on that in a minute. If you're enjoying the video so far, then please leave a like and make sure you subscribe to the channel. It is a super light mouse, stating it's just 56 grams, however it does have a honeycomb design. The difference being is there are places with no holes for you to put your fingers. If this is where they'd naturally sit, that's obviously really nice and makes it extra comfortable. If not, you either have to adjust to it or live without it. But I feel like the point of this mouse is you grip it how it's designed to be gripped, if that makes sense. You can see it wants you to put a bit of your hand there, your fingers in these clicks, your thumb on the left hand side, and then these two places for your fingers on the right hand side. It has a very specific way you're supposed to grip the mouse as such, and it does work pretty well. For me personally, I aim really well with this mouse, probably one of the best. I'm a bit rusty at the moment, I've not had as much time to play, but I think overall I perform really well. That being said, for some reason my wrist kind of cramps up and feels quite sore after playing for not too long of a time, but I don't think I could live with it all the time if I continue to get those aches and pains I get. But it'll be interesting to see how over even longer term, because I think I will main this mouse for a while if that continues. The thing about the shape is it's so specific. I think for a lot of people such as myself, and for other people with the right hand size and things like that, it's going to be really good and they're going to perform well. For others it's going to be absolutely useless, it's just going to be so uncomfortable, not how they want to grip the mouse at all, and they can't get to grips with it. It makes it, for a relatively high price for a wired mouse, a bit of a risk to buy it, because obviously if you buy it and you don't like it and you can't send it back, then you've completely wasted your money. It's not a safe shape at all. That being said, if you do think it's going to suit you, if you're happy to buy it and send it back, or you just know that you've got not huge hands, you're a claw or fingertip user, and you can just see yourself gripping it like that and finding it comfortable, then go ahead and give it a go, because you might be really pleasantly surprised. I can't really compare it to any other mice that I've used. It is really different, and I do like that. I like the fact it's been really innovative. We need to see more things like this, and ultimately these specific shapes are what are going to give people and professionals the best aiming experience possible. Another thing is the big comfort grooves in the main mouse clicks. They're not a big deal for me, but they are quite nice. It is just the little touches that really make this mouse very specific and very nice. To sum up the shape, if you're a palm user, no. If you're a claw or fingertip user, maybe. It's really hard to tell. It does make it quite hard for me to recommend this mouse, despite my high opinions of it. To put some dimensions to it, it's 111mm long, 58.5mm at the back. I'll put the rest of the dimensions on screen, as well as it's 36.5mm in height. It really is very small compared to a lot of mice. For me personally though, with my small hands, that works really well. The rest of the features do fit the price point. You get an excellent PMW 3389, which is a pretty flawless sensor, low lift-off distance of 3 playing cards, and it really is the sensor you expect to see in a mouse of this quality. Similarly, the feet are very good. I've had no issues with them. They're, I'm assuming, the same material as on the Xtrfy M42, and I used that mouse for a long time, and I have no reason to replace them. The cable though, over Xtrfy's previous mice, is a huge improvement. It's not that thick, fairly stiff cable. It's not perfect, but it's much more flexible, and it has a very nice upward angle from the stress relief, so particularly in a mouse bungee you get no drag from this cable. I will probably replace it if I keep using the mouse. That's just something I like to do, but I think the cable from stock is very good. One thing I do really like to see is the use of Kailh GM 8.0 switches. They do feel super nice. I'm a big fan of these switches. and they're definitely something I've said before I'd like to see included on more mice. As well as that, they've done it really well. The way Xtrfy makes them feel is they're really snappy and really responsive. I'm personally a big fan of the clicks on the MZ1. Here's a sound test for those of you interested of the left click and the right click. The side buttons do the job, they're fairly nice. They're not as satisfying as the main mouse clicks, but for side buttons, if you use them, they more than do the job and feel fairly nice. Once again, here's a quick sound test of the front and back. The scroll wheel I personally don't use when I'm gaming, so it's not a big deal for me. It isn't amazing in my opinion. It feels quite nice, but something about the click just feels a little bit lower quality. It just doesn't feel very nice. I'm not too sure why that is, but here again is a sound test of it scrolling and clicking. The overall build quality of the mouse is good. It's very solid. It does have a tiny bit of creaking. I don't know if you can hear this, particularly when squeezed from the sides. There's nothing bad, and for a lightweight mouse there's nothing structurally impaired by it, so I don't think it's too big of a deal. This mouse doesn't have any software, which is perfectly fine with me. So there's a toggle switch on the bottom, which means you can change the function of the button on the top from changing the RGB to the polling rate or the lift off distance, which I think is really cool and I'd like to see on other mice as well. It gives you full customization and plug and play ability. Speaking of just customization, it is a very cool looking mouse. It's got a bit of a translucent design and the RGB does look very nice. It's quite cool that even on a mouse that's just 56 grams, they've included all this RGB. It keeps it gamery and it does look very cool. One thing I'm not a huge fan of actually is the Xtrfy logo inside, because with the holes and then the translucent design, you can't really read it. It's got to be adding some weight, and I just don't think it looks all that good considering you can't see it. What's my verdict on this mouse then? Personally, it's a bit of a tricky one, because for me the shape is working very well, I'm aiming very well. It does cause me a bit of pain in my wrist, and it'll be interesting to see how, after even more testing, if that continues. It does seem to be getting better than when I first used the mouse, but I have been using it and testing it for a decent amount of time now, and I'm still experiencing that, which I'm not a big fan of. Similarly, it's quite difficult for me to recommend this mouse outright, even though it ticks all the boxes in terms of features and everything. The shape is not a safe shape. It's a great shape if it works for you, but if it doesn't, then it's going to be absolutely useless, and it's very hard to tell without trying it. If you're a palm user, don't get this mouse. If you're a claw or fingertip user, you may absolutely love this mouse, or you may absolutely hate it, and that's unfortunately just the way it is. Ignoring the shape though, in my opinion, it ticks every other box, and I think it's a great quality mouse overall. For your next video, go check out my review of the Xtrfy M42, a mouse you can customize the shape, so that's a lot easier for me to recommend. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like and even consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to look as cool as me, and I know you do, you can get yourself some merch at techify.co.uk/merch. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.